This is a Daft Dog production.
Awkward silence.
I know. Well, I'm a bit unsure of what to say and feel really rather self-conscious.
Well, try not to think of the millions of people who are going to be listening.
Millions. Countless millions.
Countless millions.
Yes. Well, at least our friends and family are going to be listening to this, I hope.
That kind of makes it more awkward, don't you think?
I know, because it'll probably be only our friends and family and nobody else.
And they only download one.
That's right, yes. Never another one after that.
Oh.
I'm not listening to that dribble. Right, well, to get started, this is the new EDS chat podcast. The idea is to talk about contemporary culture with a sort of particular leaning towards science fiction, games, technology, bit of science thrown in, that kind of stuff. I'm Ed, and my other two co-hosts are Dave and Sophie. Sophie, you're up next.
Yeah, that's Ed. He's the posh one. He has a lathe. I'm Sophie. I'm the one who is completely inept with technology, and I will occasionally be interspersing Dave and Ed with witty comments that are sometimes witty. That's kind of it. Dave, it's your turn. Take it away.
Oh, God. Obviously, my name's Dave. I'm the grumpy gamer who will be inputting on games and films with a grumpy attitude, I guess.
Your own unique point of view, Dave.
Yeah, that's what you can call.
You never say grumpy. It's like in branding. You don't say something's weird. You say it's alternative.
That's right. Dave, you're alternative.
Okay, I'm alternative Dave. There you go.
So, I think the first thing we wanted to talk about was the new comedy drama Star Trek-esque show that is being filmed at the moment called The Orville. Have you two guys seen the trailer?
Yeah, it looks pretty funny, I have to say.
It does look hilarious, doesn't it?
I just hope it doesn't end up being one of these things where they put all the jokes in the trailer and then there's like no point in watching the TV series.
You're absolutely right. I think that tends to happen with films, though, doesn't it? And you see a really long trailer and all of the best bits and the entire plot is in the trailer. And even like the ending is in the trailer. And there's absolutely no point in watching the film.
Yeah, exactly.
My hope with this is that because there's a series and there's going to be 10 or 12 or 15 or whatever programs, they won't be able to cram all of that into the trailer.
That is true.
My guess is, as it's a Seth MacFarlane jobby, it will be quite random because he did Family Guy and stuff, didn't he? And there's no, I don't know, outlying plot.
Sometimes that's good, though, the TV series. I mean, when you watch some TV series like Firefly, they have the amazing sort of overall story arcs, which are really good. And then they get cut like halfway through. So then they have to make a movie and wrap up all the storylines. So maybe if they don't have a storyline, they could just keep making it.
That's true. Like The Simpsons has no overarching plot, does it? And it doesn't need one at all.
No, it's kind of like each episode to each episode, which I think works for comedies.
It does, yeah, much more so. I don't know whether it reminded you, but when I saw the trailer, it reminded me very strongly of Galaxy Quest.
That's the Tim Allen one, isn't it?
Tim Allen, that's it. Have you seen that, Sophie?
No, I haven't. I'm drawing a blank on this one.
It's so funny. It's a sort of Star Trek-alike comedy, but a film. It's the basic plot is that an alien race has been watching the adventures of a starship crew, and they think that it's a documentary. And so when they have a problem, they turn up to recruit the crew of this like Star Trek-like drama to lead them into battle.
You know, I'm pretty sure I've seen like a Western version of that, and I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me.
Not Cowboys and Aliens.
No, it wasn't Cowboys and Aliens. It was older than that. It was like about these actors who acted out like the Three Musketeers or something, but a cowboy version. And then they actually got recruited to be like the sheriffs of this town in Texas or somewhere like that. And it sounds like that, but a space version.
I think I'd quite like to see a cowboy version of the Three Musketeers.
It was quite funny, but I cannot remember what it was called.
I'm sure you've imagined this. I've never heard of this.
It's not like called the Three Musketeers. The Three Musketeers in Texas. It's not called that. It's not even. I'm sure it's not even probably about the Three Musketeers. It just happens to be about three people who are like actors, and somebody thinks they're real cowboys or whatever, and then they get recruited to try and protect this town.
It sounds a bit like the plot of a Magnificent Seven sequel. The sequel.
It does sound similar though to there's that new film by the bloke from The Mighty Boosh or something. He's like a detective, a TV detective, and then gets hired to investigate some crime by someone because they think he's an actual detective.
1980s TV detective on the Isle of Man, that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the one. He's got like bionic ears or something.
Yeah, something like.
Yeah, I know the one. That reviewed very well, but I haven't seen it.
I'll take your word for it. So yes, anyway, I'm looking forward to the Orville when it eventually gets released in England.
Yeah, I looked up for a UK air date, and there's no mention of it. I just searched just before we came on air. There's nothing. Mind you, there's not even a US air date. So
no,
apart from
I was just looking at it on IMDb, and it just says 2017.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, well, you've still got like 6 and a bit months.
It would be quite funny because, skipping ahead slightly, maybe we should just change the order of what we're going to talk about. But the Star Trek Discovery, the new Star Trek series with Jason Isaacs, that's coming out in the autumn. And in the UK, one day after the US, I understand.
Oh, that is a pleasant surprise, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I thought it'd be 6 months or a year or never. But apparently one day on Netflix, the day after the US is going to be out. And presumably on Netflix then, all of the episodes dumped in one day.
I have to say, I am binge watching Star Trek Voyager on Netflix at the moment. It's wonderful.
Yeah, they put all of the Star Treks on Netflix, haven't they? All of them.
I know, I'm working my way through them, but Voyager is still my favourite.
Is it? I love that latest one with, was it called Enterprise?
I didn't like that. I just did not get into it.
Nobody liked it, apart from me. I was the only person.
You were the only fan.
It was just me. If I go to a convention for that, there's just me there in a big empty hall. Scott Bakula with his dog.
You're turning up to like the XL Centre in London and there's just you.
Yep, that's it. The only person who liked that series. The other thing about Star Trek Discovery is I think the captain is Jason Isaacs.
Yes, it is. I'm on IMDb.
Cool. I don't know if it's obligatory, like it is on other podcasts, to say hello to Jason Isaacs every time you mention him.
Oh, should we say hello?
Yeah,
hello.
I think we should. Hello. Hello to Jason Isaacs.
I have no idea who Jason Isaacs is, so...
He is Captain Lorca in Star Trek Discovery. Get with the times, Dave.
I'm
not a massive Trekkie, so...
Get out.
All right, I can leave if you really want.
Please don't.
He was also in the Harry Potter, wasn't he? He was
no way.
Yeah, he was one of the Malfoys, the older one, the dad.
Oh, right, yeah, I know which one you mean. Even though I don't particularly like Harry Potter either, but...
But yes, he is, and I can see it now.
Yes, and he's also done loads. He's done loads of BBC TV stuff.
Are English people allowed to be captains in Star Trek?
Let's say yes.
It's just, one assumes he's a good guy, which is kind of unusual.
Yeah.
For an American
engineer in Enterprise was English, wasn't he?
Oh, thingamajig. What's his name?
I'm afraid I don't remember his name. Without looking it up.
Chief engineer. I can see his face and everything.
That bloke.
That bloke. Curly hair.
Yes.
God, that's annoying. I'm going to look this up now.
I think you should.
Yeah. All right. Bear with.
This is
So the real
amazing
question
audio
for you is-
of Sophie looking things up on the internet. It makes great radio.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I think I've looked up the wrong thing. No, not Patrick Stewart. I know it's definitely not Patrick Stewart.
No, not bad. Oh, he was captain, wasn't he? Possibly the best
He was captain.
in the history of captains. I mean,
He is
I don't know how
awesome.
we've got that.
See, I was just about to ask who your favourite captain was, but I think you might have just answered my question.
I'm not sure, okay? Patrick Stewart is arguably the best, but I love Janeway because she has so much sass. She's awesome.
That whole series was very good, actually, wasn't it? And it was a big break from Star Trek with Picard, like this massive, powerful spaceship and the backup of the Federation, and to completely take a much smaller starship and take it completely away from all its allies and backup. It's a completely different thing, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening because I was trying to look up who the chief engineer was.
Did you find out who the chief engineer
I
was?
have now found him. Cole Meany, born in
wrong
Dublin.
Series.
What? No, that is Next Generation.
Yeah, Next Generation, but Enterprise.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Next Generation.
Ah,
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right.
Then in that case, I was looking up the right one earlier. I haven't watched Enterprise, though. Hold on.
No,
You know
Tom
his
Meany's a
character's
brilliant
name?
actor. He's done lots of things that aren't Star Trek.
Oh, don't lie to me. Was he Vissian chief engineer? Oh no, he was only in one episode. Can't be him. No, I don't know who the engineer is on Enterprise.
I've got my iPad here. It's much quieter than your thingy.
Is my computer really that loud?
No, not really.
Oh, right.
Dominic Keating. There we go.
Okay, fine. You can look it up next time.
Yeah, no, you did a marvellous job looking it up. I think
Lieutenant Malcolm Reed.
that's the bloke.
Yeah, well, at least I got that right.
Yep.
I didn't watch that TV series. I don't feel bad not knowing this.
Well, that's fair enough. It's on Netflix, though. You can watch the whole lot.
I'm not sure I want to, having just, earlier talked about how I didn't like it.
Well, now's your opportunity. And it's the only one that starred a dog.
What? Enterprise?
Yep.
Had a dog?
Yep.
A dog in space?
Yep.
Was it called Zednik?
I have no idea, actually. Should I know who that dog is?
Zednik was the first dog to go into space. Russia. Russians.
This is a familiar name.
I would like to say that this was my amazing history knowledge. I actually only know this because my aunt's dog was called Zednik.
Really? It's a great name for a dog.
It is a great name for a dog. It was a husky.
Was it?
Hmm.
The first dog in space was some random stray they found on the streets of Moscow.
Yeah, probably. Do you want me to look that up?
No, it's all right. I'm pretty sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's due to be. They haven't got a specific date, but it's scheduled for the autumn, and I think they're still filming it. So hopefully they'll finish up and then be able to dump the whole lot on us in the autumn and be able to binge watch the lot.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
If they're still filming it and hope to release it in autumn, though, that means that the Orville really has no excuse, because I'm pretty sure they've finished filming.
It'd be lovely if they produced them both at the same time, and if you had to contrast the Orville with Star Trek Discovery.
That is very true.
Marvellous.
Anyway, anything more?
I think it's enough Star Trek for one episode, possibly.
Never enough Star Trek.
No, you're right. You never have enough Star Trek.
Except if you're overruling it with Star Wars, because everybody knows that Star Wars is better than Star Trek.
That is a possibly contentious opinion.
Which will be edited out.
Yeah, but you know how much I love Star Wars.
I do know how much I love
true.
Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, Dave, you wanted to talk about 13 Reasons Why, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I know you've watched this. I'm pretty sure Sophie hasn't.
And
Do you have a bit of a spoiler warning at this point? In that
The whole section is just going to be a spoiler warning.
Right.
I'll just butt in occasionally and go, spoiler alert!
Yes, we are going to be a bit spoiler-tastic.
But yeah, for a teeny drama type thing, I found it very moving, actually, as a parent. Very moving, very hard to watch, actually, in certain parts.
Yes, it was hard to watch. Sophie, I don't think you've seen this one, have you?
I have absolutely no intention of watching this one, because if something doesn't have a happy ending, I'm not going to watch it.
It doesn't.
If I wanted realism, I would turn on BBC One.
Yes, well, there is that. This thing was very good drama, though, and I was a bit unsure, because no way Netflix drama can be drama turned up to 11.
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But Amazon Prime is just as bad.
Well, that's quite true. But this particular one, the basic premise, and this isn't a spoiler really, because it's obvious from the very beginning of the first episode, really, is that a girl tragically commits suicide, and there are 13 reasons why she did it, and each episode concentrates on one of the reasons, the reason being embodied in a particular person. And I have to say I was kind of sceptical about this, and sceptical that I would be convinced by the end of it, by the end of the series, that she would have sufficient motivation, or that I understand why she was driven, why she felt she had to commit suicide. And in fact, quite a lot of it, I wasn't even convinced that she had actually committed suicide, even though that's the whole premise right from the beginning. I think I was just so desperate for a happy ending, I thought she'd pop up towards the end and say, haha, that'll teach you all. But unfortunately, that wasn't.
Somehow I feel that wouldn't be like as powerful an ending.
No, it wasn't. And the ending, the last couple of episodes in particular, were very hard, very difficult to watch.
Because it starts off like quite simple stuff. I'm thinking, someone's just, I don't know, said something shit like, I don't like your dress, or something, that kind of trivial thing where it's like, that kind of thing happens to everyone every day, and you wouldn't have thought it would drive someone to suicide.
No.
But after, like you say, when you get towards this, like the final 3 episodes, stuff just goes up, like a massive upturn in stuff going wrong. And it does make it hard.
It was a very difficult watch. It broke UK broadcasting rules rather controversially, and Netflix, their kind was, well, we're not a British company, we don't have an office in the UK, so we don't need to be bound by Ofcom rules.
They're going to change the rules now.
Well, try to, I guess.
Took BBC long enough to get iPlayer on the BBC on the TV license, didn't it?
Well, sure enough. But I believe it adhered to 13 Reasons Why, adhered to US guidelines. But what they did do, that you're not allowed to do in the UK, is to actually show the suicide at the end. Which possibly, because something you don't see on UK TV or in cinema in the UK, the same reason it would be cut. It's very, very powerful to watch.
Yeah, not my sort of thing.
Not your sort of thing at all.
No.
I identified very much with the parents in this. And I sort of thought, this is going to be a teen drama and not that interesting, and the reasons why are going to be like not that much. And she had a slightly compromising photograph, and people were gossiping about her and stuff, and I'm thinking, nah. But yeah, the end wasn't good. So you found it very believable, Dave?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yes.
Awkward silence. What were you doing, or do we not want to know?
I was maybe vaping, but and I may have started choking because I'm like, oh crap, I've got to talk. But
I know we said
like
natural on this, but
but the point of it's very believable. I don't know. I found it very relatable, to be honest, with when I went to school and that kind of thing. I know it's an American high school, so it's completely different to how UK schools are. You have cheerleaders and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, but you still get bullies everywhere, don't you?
Yes, you do. And it's, I found it, as I have a daughter as well, I just put myself in that place of thinking, if my daughter was going through that and I didn't know anything about it, I would struggle to carry on afterwards, I guess.
Yes, I think it's very. I haven't got teenage children. My children are both younger than that, but I do think watching some of these things that parents let the children get away with too much. I don't know if you felt that at all, Dave.
Yeah, they do.
I recently watched a separate thing. I watched that drama Three Girls on BBC TV, and Sophie wouldn't like this either. It was about the child abuse ring in Rochdale.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, some of the guys in the office were talking about that.
Yeah, that was a very difficult watch, and the sort of thing you really feel you ought to watch as a duty to sort of bear witness to what these girls went through.
That's probably why they made it, isn't it?
I think so, because I think people who are actually involved were consultants on the TV programme, and I believe it's based on a book that was written by one of the three girls. That, again, I was watching that and I thought, well, when the whole thing started off, the parents didn't really know where their daughters were or what they were doing. And I'm pretty sure my dad wouldn't be at all happy with that, with my sisters behaving in that way. I mean, it was a different era, decades ago. But what do you think, Sophie?
I'm going to agree with you. I mean, it's slightly difficult because I don't have the same perspective on this as you guys, but certainly when I was living with my parents, even after I came back from uni and was living with them, it was still very much sort of, where are you going? What are you doing? Who are you with? What time are you back?
Exactly.
Even now, I'm like, my dad's like, are you home yet? Yes, Dad.
I think it's different though, if depending on the gender, obviously. I think boys generally be allowed to do more than, not worried about as much than girls by parents generally. Yeah. That's, my experience anyway, was my parents wanted to know where I was, but at the same time, just kind of like they weren't checking up on me. Whereas girls I knew of that age, their parents would be checking up on them.
My parents are certainly much more lax with me than they were with my sisters, but I think because I was the last, I think my sisters had broken them. I inherited broken parents. And I put it down to that as much as anything else. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
That got a bit serious, didn't it?
It suddenly did, yes. It's a serious thing to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
What else do we want to talk about? Dave, we want to talk about The Expanse, did we not? I think, Sophie, this is another one you haven't seen, I'm afraid.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
You need to watch The Expanse.
Yeah, I'd say.
Is it actually available yet?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll definitely watch that. As long as I don't need a TV license for it, I'm fine.
No, it's on Netflix. It's really good. I've heard it described, not by myself, but I've heard other people describe it as the new Firefly.
Well, if Joss Whedon's not doing it, then it's not the new Firefly, is it?
That's true. That's true. But,
like Joss Whedon. Not personally, you understand. I've never met him, but
no, I've never met him.
I like the stuff he does.
Yeah. But the TV series is particularly good. It's set in a very sort of realistic, relativistic future. There's no super high speed interstellar travel. This is accelerating and decelerating in the solar system. But it's set in the future where space travel is quite commonplace. And the regular cargo runs going between the asteroids and Mars and Earth and stuff.
Just to quickly interrupt you there.
Yes.
I just went onto Netflix and added The Expanse to my watch list or whatever it's called.
Yay.
It got a 97% match with my likes, so I think I'm going to like it.
I think this is quite good. Is this a new thing with Netflix? I only noticed it the other week, that they give you a percentage match.
Yeah, I have to say I've never really paid much attention to it before.
No.
I have seen it before, but I don't really pay much attention to it.
I get all sorts of odd stuff because my sons log into my account and watch all sorts of stuff. So I
Is that so wise?
I get a 98% match with Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I wouldn't get a 98% match with Scooby-Doo. It's brilliant.
Are you sure this is your children are watching it and it's not
No,
you're
right,
watching it secretly?
I watch the every day.
It's like, oh no, this podcast is going to be broadcast like to the world. I can't tell everyone that I still like Scooby-Doo.
I do.
Whereas
like
I have no shame. I'm just like, yeah, Scooby-Doo's awesome.
The most recent series is distinctly less awesome, I would say. But
all of these remake ones are always less awesome.
Oh, I know. It's a bit sad.
Could you imagine them trying to redo like Thomas the Tank Engine or something? It'd be like Thomas the Tank Engine, but with Southern Rail. Oh no, Thomas the Tank Engine hasn't left again.
I have to admit here to never liking Thomas the Tank Engine.
Ugh, Dave, where do you stand on this?
I can't remember whether I liked Thomas the Tank Engine. That was quite a long time ago.
I mean, like Ringo Starr's narration was good and everything, but I just never really bonded with it. I don't like the books at all.
Oh my god. Dave, are you hearing this?
I am.
He was like analysing this shit when he was about 2 years old, whereas I was like, yay, trains! That's just the difference in our upbringings.
It sounds like his children will probably be missing out on Thomas the Tank Engine.
No, not at all. They watch as much as they like.
Do you tell them to critique the voiceover and stuff like that?
No, I don't.
As they're watching it.
They'd have to write a 100-page essay.
I think that's just me. I think I'm just a bit special.
Anyway, sorry, we've derailed a little bit there. Forgive the pun. The Expanse.
Yes, The Expanse. It's based on books. I've downloaded the first one to read. The books are supposed to be very good, and they're still writing them.
This isn't going to be like another Game of Thrones. Yeah, I was about to say. The TV series is going to overtake the books and then go off on a complete different tangent.
Well, I mean, following that tangent, it's quite concerning about Game of Thrones. I absolutely loved the books. I really enjoyed them. Some of those I found quite hard to read. One of them I put down 6 months because I just read about the so-called Red Wedding. And I couldn't face picking it up again. So I put the book down 6 months and then picked if I could face reading the next chapter. And I'm not going to
lie. When the Red Wedding came on the TV series, I just covered my eyes.
Did you?
I was like, I'm not watching this.
No,
I didn't even listen to it. I kept peeping through my fingers every so often. And I was like, no, it's still going on.
I can completely understand that. I read that the author,
George
when
R.
he
R.
wrote
Martin,
that book, he wrote that sequence last. He left a gap because he knew it'd be hard to write. And then finally, right at the end, he had to go back and write that segment.
Kill off half the decent characters.
Well, I know. I mean, this is the one thing you can say about J.R.R. Martin, is that he's not afraid to kill anyone off. But equally, he's not afraid to bring them back again either.
That is true.
Shit, shouldn't have killed them. That's inconvenient. Where's the red woman?
Yes, let's bring her back.
The problem is, though, it's one of those scenes where you're just sitting there and you're like, I remember watching it and just thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, not him, and she's dead, great. And
not going to lie, that's how I feel watching BBC News now. Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, sorry.
But just as a thing, it was. I mean, characters died quite readily in Game of Thrones. I'm kind of glad that the Hound is still alive, but I'm sure he's going to die at some point.
I'm sorry for the girl who's only just finished watching season 4.
Oh yeah, shit.
Well, he's still alive in season 4, but he might not be in season 5. Who knows?
Yeah, he might not.
I don't believe that bullshit. I know that you guys are up to date on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So
books and
you guys
No, I'm still on season 1. It's far.
It's like 38 days to go, isn't it, until the next season?
Yeah, they're releasing it late this year, aren't they? Because they needed to film more scenes in winter.
So you're going to be up to date by then, Sophie?
I don't know. It depends how much it's going to cost us to buy seasons 5 and 6 and how much time we get to actually watch them.
Just take out a Now TV subscription for not much money at all. It'll be way cheaper than buying them. All of them are available to watch on there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's like £5 a month or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now TV, I don't need a TV license for that because I don't have one still.
No.
Nope.
It's
It's the
like
same as
Netflix.
Netflix or Amazon Prime. It's just another one of those.
I'd like to just do a shout out to the TV licensing people here now. I don't have a TV. Just putting it out there.
Fair enough.
They ask me every year. I'm like, nope.
Can you hear the black helicopters hovering above your flat?
Yes, they can come down the ropes and smashing in through your windows any moment.
You know what? There's a black van parked outside with tinted windows.
That'll be it then.
There'll be the guy in the back of it with his radar gun telling which TV's not actually connected properly.
Yeah, they can't do that anymore, can they? As nobody has a CRT, you can't pick up the emissions from flat screen.
I'm pretty sure it was a load of crap, to be honest. But
You say that, but years and years ago, a guy I knew worked for the civil service, and he worked on confidential stuff, data processing, confidential government.
Wait a minute, before you say anything more,
Yes,
if you
yes.
say this, are you going to get everyone killed?
No,
Just asking.
I don't think so. All I was going to say was that that the building that he worked in was one big Faraday cage, so that no emissions could escape. You couldn't use like a TDP detector band to reconstruct the picture on the monitors inside the building because it was a big Faraday cage. So I understood anyway.
That's kind of cool.
I just don't see them forking out the money for people to be sitting around over £13 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, it is £12 something, isn't it?
I don't know.
I can't see that happening. I just literally, I mean, you get people taken to court and it goes on for ages and ages and ages, all for about 20 quid.
It's the principle of the matter.
It's just paying 12 quid. Yeah, but anyway, all of the Game of Thrones are available as box sets on Now TV. So you can watch a lot in the next 38 days.
Right, okay, no pressure. But that's kind of no good to me, is it? Because I don't have a TV license. So I can't watch Series 7 when it comes out anyway.
Yeah, because you just watch it not live.
Oh, it's on HBO, isn't it?
Yeah, so as long as you don't watch it live, you can watch it as soon
that's okay then. Yeah.
as soon as it's finished. I'm not going to watch it live because I don't have Sky. But I do have Now TV, and it'll be on, as soon as it finishes, it'll be on Now TV.
Okay then. All right.
Yeah, see? There you
You've
go.
convinced me.
Oh, good.
What else is on Now TV? Don't worry, I'll go look it up later. I don't actually expect you to recite it like the Now TV Radio Times or something.
No, sorry.
So what's the Expanse going to be shown on? Do we know? What channel?
Expanse is on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix
Is it?
production.
Oh, yeah. Oh, duh.
So,
I've forgotten already.
except Series 2 has been in the US and hasn't come to the UK yet.
Okay.
And I haven't got a date for it to come to the UK, which is irritating. It's a Netflix original. And I've messaged and tweeted Netflix UK several times and met with utter silence about, they won't even tell me a season or year about when it's going to be released, which is quite frustrating.
Morons.
Quite. But the books on this, Amazon are doing one of their things where the first book is 99p, and like the second one's £1.50, and then all the subsequent ones are £6.99.
Yeah,
So,
they reel you in.
The first one's free, but none of the others are.
That's probably not a bad idea, actually.
Did Amazon do this? I got an email recently where they said, start a new series, and they had 8 or 12 different series. First book only, 99p. So
Yeah, you see, I don't get those emails from Amazon because I don't have a Kindle. I'm old school. I like having books, proper books.
Yes, I prefer proper books. I have to say, the actual Dead Tree editions are better.
Yes, that take up loads of space and they're heavy.
Exactly. I have so many books.
You basically live in a library with your lathe.
I don't have a lathe. But it's a bit like living in a library. So I just sheer practicality means I have to read books on Kindle.
And also that way your wife doesn't know how many you've bought.
Hardly any, honestly. Hardly any.
I don't believe that. Dave, do you believe that?
I don't believe that.
No. We know you too well.
Oh dear. Anyway, so eagerly waiting. The first series is very good of The Expanse. Well worth watching. Eagerly awaiting the second series, which you can probably get if you happen to be in the States.
Americans always get things first.
I know.
Well, when it's made in America anyway.
Yep. Really, as we have such a global TV market, it would really make a lot of sense for these things to be released on the same day in every territory.
It is becoming more of a thing, isn't it? Because as you're getting more things like Netflix and Amazon Prime and things like that, it's less of a deal now which country you're in.
Yeah.
So absolutely. It makes sense just to have a release date of this date.
And
although, if it's made in America and you're going to release it in like China on the same day, does that mean that the release date's going to be pushed back whilst they put over Chinese subtitles or voice dubs or something? Because that would be annoying.
I don't know, but there's no reason for not releasing it in the UK because
mostly we just care about when we can get it.
Yes, I just care about when I can watch it and everybody else can.
The thing is, though, Ed, is there also an advantage to if you release it in America, right, and it does well and it builds up hype, so you get more interest for people to watch it, like once it gets released over here.
Well, the thing is, there's so much interest, and people will try and find it online if it's not available to watch through a legitimate source. I mean, the most pirated TV programs ever were Game of Thrones, when there's a difference between the UK and US dates. So the Americans go first, and then the whole rest of the world would try and find it on the internet because they couldn't wait a day. So this is why they've taken great pains now to release Game of Thrones at the same time everywhere. So if you can watch it in the UK, you can watch it like 2 a.m, which is exactly the same time it's on in the US. So there's no excuse for pirating it or watching a pirated version.
Does anyone actually do that you know of, like stay up until 2 a.m? Or do you think that they wake up at like 30:30? Are you one of those people?
No. I know people that have done it.
Yeah, I can understand that if I probably would have done that with Grand Tour.
No, you see, as someone who needs their sleep, I'm just not doing that.
Not even for Star Wars? If the new Star Wars...
that's a bit trickier.
It is trickier. Have you never, just on impulse, gone to see the first 1 minute past midnight showing of the film?
No, I haven't. And there is a reason for this, because apart from the fact that I love sleep, if I'm like awake at that time, I'm not going to fully appreciate the film because I can't go to sleep and then wake up and then go back to sleep. That just doesn't work. So I would have been up since like 8:00 in the morning, depending on what day it is. Mm-hmm. Maybe 6:30 if it's a work day. There's no way I can go that long without sleep. Okay. Even now, I'm like, I need to go to bed. It's 9:30. Okay.
But what about if you had the day off the day after?
No, it's not going to cut it. It's how long I'm awake for. So what you're saying is I'd have to go and see like the 1 minute past midnight showing. So I'd have to get up late that morning and then sleep late the next day. So this becomes like a 2-day fiasco. I would much rather just go and see it at a sensible time on the day it's released and then like chill out normally. And then I can really appreciate it because I'm actually awake for it.
You get this with games as well, actually, don't you? People go to the release like at 1 minute past midnight when the store's open to go buy a game.
Yeah, but so many games now you download, don't you? Like you might buy the disc. Sometimes you buy the disc still and put it in and then it downloads it. But like if you're doing something on Steam, it'll just download automatically at the time it's released.
I mean,
so then you can just leave your computer on overnight and then it's ready for you in the morning.
The last game I actually got on DVD, someone kindly bought me as a birthday or Christmas present, and I put the disc in and it had a Steam installer on it and a key. And that was it.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite good actually if you're giving something as a gift. Because I woke up on Christmas morning naturally turned on my computer because I wanted to do something or another. First thing I get is a message from my brother saying, "Congratulations! Merry Christmas! Your brother's bought you this, that, and the other." And I was like, better text James, let him know. Thanks for my present.
That's nice.
It did sort of, not spoil it a bit, but let's just say I was playing that game before I'd actually met him for Christmas lunch. So.
And why not? It's perfect. You've spare 5 minutes, you can log in something on Steam.
Pretty much, actually. I did do that yesterday. I was like, yes, Dragon Age Inquisition for the first time in about 3 weeks. It was amazing.
Is that first time playing through or second?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. This is probably about the 6th time. The game's been out for years.
I knew I was setting myself up for something there.
I don't know how long it's been out for, actually, but I still love it. Gotta love BioWare RPGs. They're just amazing.
Has anyone played Witcher?
No, I haven't, but I have looked at this quite a lot, and I picked up one of the books, Ian Waterstone's, actually, before I knew it was a game. And I thought, that looks really good, but potentially slightly gory for my tastes. Then I went and found the game and said the same thing.
You haven't actually played the game then?
No, it looked a bit scary.
I have the game downloaded, but
there's a series of them, though, isn't there?
I've never played it. So the books are translated, aren't they? I think they're originally written in Polish. And
right.
I know one person who's read the first one and wasn't that impressed. But
did they read it in Polish?
No, didn't read it in Polish.
That's a bit disappointing then.
But isn't it made by Polish game devs as well?
Is it really?
I think it is.
Well, that's good. At least EA Games aren't getting in there and fucking it up.
Well, yes, anything that EA Games can't fuck up is a good thing. What was the series, Dave? We were talking about the other day that they first few editions were really good, and then EA bought it and killed it.
Well, there's a whole load of those, to be fair.
Well, you've got Command & Conquer, you've got Mass Effect, they ruined that.
They ruined the third one of that. I still cannot play the first two because they just fucked up the third one so badly. I can't even look at it. I'm like, no.
It's bad. It's really bad.
It was awful, wasn't it? And it was like, you hyped this up. It was fantastic. The gameplay in Mass Effect 3 has got to be the best gameplay I've ever done in my life. Like, everything was perfect blend. And then the end, and it's like, oh, and you can still do any of these options despite the fact you've played protagonist throughout the whole thing. You can still be a complete arsehole and blow everyone up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but we're not going to properly show you that ending because it costs too much money to make it, so we'll just do a massive explosion and you can assume everyone's dead.
It's the thing is with EA, is as we're all pretty much PC gamers, they're more like console games, you know, with the football and
I was about to say,
and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I'm guessing if you like football games or you like basketball games, they're probably not that bad.
Yeah, but don't let them touch BioWare RPGs.
No, or any actual proper game. I mean, they bought...
Or an actual game, yeah.
They bought Origin to get the Wing Commander series and killed it stone dead instantly.
Yeah.
And I think, why spend money on this asset which has a great history of making really good, innovative games and a very enthusiastic fan base? Why spend the money on it and then kill it? I mean, what is the point?
Bad management?
Some management would be good. But some evidence of intelligence.
I don't know. Oh dear. But back to your...
They're making a TV series of it. And
really?
I don't know how good this would be. Having not read the books and not had time to play the games, I'm still really looking forward to the TV series.
Is it because like a TV series requires so much less interaction than a book or a game? You can then judge whether you're going to like the game or the book from the TV series. You could just be like, well, I can sit down and watch like a 45-minute or an hour episode, and then that's probably the equivalent to about 6 hours gaming, isn't it?
Probably. I mean, the Witcher...
Well, it depends on the game.
The Witcher are very time-consuming, the series, aren't they? Aren't they estimated to be 80 hours or more?
Yeah, they're like, you know, Skyrim-esque RPGs on them. Yeah.
But much more story-driven than Skyrim, aren't they? I mean, Skyrim's kind of... You can just wander off and do what you want, pretty much, can't you?
Yeah, it's not as open world. I think it's, you know, a bit more linear.
Is it a bit more sort of like a Dragon Age storyline where it's like There is a storyline
yeah.
there, but you can fuck off and do whatever you like in the meantime.
I bet it's because I haven't actually played any of the Witcher games, but I've got friends that have played them and have recommended them. But obviously, with The Witcher 1, Witcher 2 being a bit dated now, I don't know if I'd want to jump into it because I don't know, like, you know, some games are a bit janky, even though they were good in their day.
Yeah.
It's always true.
So, you know, the game's meant to be good, or very good. In fact, the story's meant to be very good. And like you say, it's like kind of like a Dragon Age, kind of Skyrim-y type RPG, as far as I'm aware. But it's set in a kind of different timeline, I guess.
You know, I really think like we should play these games before we review them. I feel like we'd have more to say.
Possibly. No, let's talk for a long time about something about which we know nothing.
So we're politicians now.
No comment.
Ed's a politician.
Yeah. The thing is, Witcher spawned another game series recently.
Has it?
There is a mini game in The Witcher 3 called Gwent, which is a card game, kind of like Magic the Gathering type thing, and that has actually spawned a full game now.
Why did they name it after somewhere in Wales?
I don't know why it's called Gwent. I don't know that much about it, but I've seen.
Apparently, there's another one called Southampton.
Oh, is there?
That's less of a coincidence. They probably just did a classic sort of, I'm going to mash the keyboard and see if I can make a word out of what appears on the screen.
So, speaking of things I haven't played.
Next item we don't know anything about.
Has anyone played a Far Cry?
Yes,
No,
I've played
I have
Far Cry.
watched my dad. You go, Dave. You know more about it.
I played Far Cry 1 for a little bit, which was a very nice looking game, but a bit shit.
All the reviews were so frothing about that game.
Yeah, I never really got it, to be honest.
No? Far Cry
played...
Primal looked very good. And I saw a long trailer for Far Cry 5, and I thought that looks amazing.
But isn't Far Cry doing for games what, like, 13 Reasons Why is doing for TV series, where it's just kind of, like, being really fucked up?
Well,
there was it Far Cry 4 is the one set in the tropical island with the weird, like, witch doctor person?
I think you might be right.
I'm going to look it up quickly. But either way, if it was the one I'm thinking of, I think it was Far Cry 4. Oh no, it might have been Far Cry 3. Anyway, really fucked up. Very twisted. That was all I was going to say.
Well, that's the one I've actually played. I've played Far Cry 3, like played it all the way through, and the one thing about that game is, you know, there's good moments in it. The gameplay's pretty good. The graphics are very good for the time.
Graphics are
but I don't know, the characters you interact with are all whiny little turds, and you don't care. Like, it'll be like, I don't know, the storyline will say, you've got to go rescue Jake, who got himself caught, and you just go into it thinking, I hope he's dead when I get there. I hope I don't have to talk to him once I've got him back. And you know that you'll have to walk into some cave, and he'll try and have a conversation with you. It's just like, just fuck off, just leave me alone. Just piss off the island and do whatever. I don't care.
No, Far Cry 3 is the one with the girl in it, isn't it? Who apparently, like, oh, spoiler alert, at the end of the game is like, kill everybody for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, this is a massive spoiler if you haven't played it. But the end of the game is you have this woman, and you have the choice of either you shag her and die or something, or you don't. And I didn't get the reference to it. It's just kind of like, oh, okay then. Oh, that's happening. Cool.
Yeah. Awkward much when you're trying to talk to your dad and that scene's going on. All right. There I am.
You or your dad?
My dad, which possibly makes it worse.
Possibly does.
On the big fuck off TV screen he's got as his monitor, and I'm like, shall I come back later?
Yes.
See, on a similar note, there's a game Fear. One of the things, it might be two, You find that woman, the girl grows up into a woman or whatever, and there's a scene where is it Elma?
Alma?
Yeah, it might be that. But she, like, the very end of the game, there's a scene where you're fighting the boss or something, and she, like, is basically raping you. And I remember sitting there playing this game whilst my girlfriend at the time sat behind me, and I'm just like, hands off the keyboard, like, it's not me. I'm not doing anything. This is all the game. I haven't instigated anything. I'm turning it off.
And they wonder why.
Did you save progress first?
They wonder why gaming is a solitary pursuit.
It's become much more a thing, though, hasn't it? To put like relationships and particularly sex into games.
Well, there's quite a lot of this in The Witcher, isn't there? My understanding is.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the first game was like it was like really cheesy. You got like cards every time you had sex or something, like collector cards.
Really?
I'm sorry, this brings us quite nicely back to what we were talking about earlier about how it's like guys get rewarded for shagging girls and girls are like, no, you must be locked up forever with a chastity belt.
Yeah, that's such a shocking double standard, isn't it?
But I think the game has evolved, and it's not like you can have sex in the game, but it's not kind of like, here's a Steam achievement for porking 7 prostitutes or whatever.
Isn't that basically what you do in Grand Theft Auto?
It's an option.
I remember the only time I played Grand Theft Auto, I got so bored with it, I activated all the cheats, and I ended up with like a flying car being pursued by tanks and helicopters. That was quite fun.
That sounds pretty cool.
It was quite fun. Although because I got bored with it, I would just go around and murder people randomly on the street and take their money.
I've heard people absolutely love this game and love the fact that the whole game world goes on without them when they're not there. And
yeah, that's true, because it's like a sort of MMO. Well, some of it is, isn't it? There's an MMO option.
I was not the MMO version, just the ordinary version. I was talking to my brother-in-law who loved that game, loved Grand Theft Auto 5, and he was saying he was driving somewhere after doing missions, and he was on his way back, and he had stopped at a traffic light, and next to him in game there's somebody watering their front garden, and a dog trotted along and cocked his leg on the guy's gate post. And the guy hosed the dog down to chase him off. And this is like just going on in the background. The NPCs doing this stuff that you wouldn't even notice if you didn't have you looking out the window in that direction. And sort of that level of complexity and authenticity is what it's really quite good, I think.
That's wrong, but those are like entertaining details put into it.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand the premise of the game.
It must be a scripted episode. You know, and maybe if you hadn't been looking that direction, it never would have happened. But it just gives it a feeling like it's a real world.
Mm. Except, when you die, you just respawn in hospital having been charged like $20.
Oh, well, there is that. And the $20 thing is the most unrealistic thing about that, isn't it?
Yeah, particularly in America.
Yeah, quite. So let's think. Has anyone seen the Star Trek Bridge Crew?
No, not until you sent it to me. And I haven't actually looked at it.
It's
sorry.
It's a VR only game based on basically commanding a starship. It's very story driven, and I watched a lengthy review. It's a lengthy play session, and you get to choose, or you get assigned. I'm not sure which. One of the various positions on the bridge. Some has to do with captain, some's in engineering, someone does navigation, whatever. And you have to work together as a crew to solve the situations that you're put into. And it's very much like something out of a Star Trek episode. And of course, the thing about this is it's in 3D. And honestly, I've looked at lots of 3D things before, but I suppose many people have, and never seen anything else that made me think, actually, I'd really like to get that. But that did look absolutely fucking amazing.
But is it a strategy? It looks like it's going to be mostly strategy based.
It looked to me like you're starring in your own episode of Star Trek.
No, you see, I would normally go for that, but as long as I'm not actually the one who has to come up with the bullshit science that they come up with.
The bullshit science was that.
Well, yes, I mean, it is bullshit science.
Oh, of course it is.
It's like they come up with like this ridiculous way of escaping these situations and then put it into a simple analogy. And they're like, oh my goodness, that's how we'll make it work.
Yes, they went to great lengths to do that in Star Trek Next Generation, didn't they?
Yes.
And they had these sort of long scientific waffly terms that they'd come out with.
Yeah.
But I think the thing about this is that VR is still too expensive. But this game's the only thing that made me think, actually, I wish I had one of those. I don't know what the experience would be like if you could play it like just on a flat screen, with like a first-person experience without the VR. But I've never seen anything else at all that made me think, oh, I wish I had an Oculus Rift.
Do you think VR is one of their main selling points of this, though? Because it looks like it is, because they're only offering it to you in virtual reality.
It's VR only, and it supports three major VRs. So it's PlayStation VR, doesn't it? And Oculus, and what's the other one called, Dave?
The HTC Vive?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it supports those three systems, doesn't it?
The problem with VR is, you've got like the game's probably not. It's going to sell better on consoles than it is on PC, because obviously PlayStation VR's a lot cheaper to get.
Yeah.
And I think they've sold 1 million headsets now.
Really?
When did it come out, though?
Was it last year?
See, I don't think 1 million is actually that much for like the following that PlayStation has. 1 million.
Well, it's a lot for, considering it's not cheap. It's like 300 quid or something, isn't it?
Don't know. I'm going to go Amazon it now.
I don't think it's cheap. So, it's only going to be the hardcore people that are going to buy it. With like the HTC.
340 quid.
Yeah, exactly. So, that the HTC, it's not something that you'd be like, I don't know, I wouldn't be buying that for my kid for Christmas. It's far too much money. But with like the HTC, it's not just the headset. You have to get the PC and everything. You also need the real estate to use to be able to if you want to play it properly. Some of the games you have the touch controllers, don't you? Where you can move about. It's all motion detected.
Yes, you have motion detectors put up around the room, don't you? So you have to have like a clear space in a room.
Exactly.
Where it can
it's hard enough sometimes playing the Kinect.
Yeah, absolutely. Let alone having the clear space for one of those things. The Oculus Rift is a bit different, isn't it? It's more of a sitting down experience. That's right.
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
But it's not meant to be as good.
No.
Don't know. I haven't played any of them. VR just does not appeal.
I've got one of those headsets you can put your phone in, and it becomes like a low-end VR set. And I've tried it out, and it's quite sort of good novelty value. It's quite interesting for a couple of hours, and that's it. And after that, it's no, I can't bother. And actually, having used it for a couple of hours, and I've watched some 3D videos where you're there's a documentary about coral reef, and you're very much underwater, and whichever way you look, you can see, you're clearly underwater, and there's fish and coral and divers and blah, blah, blah. And that's quite novel and interesting the first time. But after that, actually, it's down to the quality of the documentary. Is it as interesting as the BBC one with David Attenborough doing? And the answer is, well, no, probably not. And so after you got over the novelty of the 3D VR experience, which is probably a couple of hours worth of fun, that's it. And I put the thing away, and I've uninstalled the software and not looked at it again since. And I think that's very much the way I felt about VR. I've seen no other content apart from this Star Trek Bridge Crew, which made me think, actually, I'd really like to do that. And I spent a lot of time in EliteDangerous, which does support VR, and I have no desire, no yearning at all to get a VR headset for it.
Not being funny, though, there's this thing you can do with with Google Maps, isn't there? Where you move, if you've got it up on your phone on Street View, you move your phone around.
Yeah.
And that just moves the view for you. I find that irritating. I think VR would actually drive me over the edge.
You can even take back panoramas like that, can't you, with your phone? And then to view the photo back again, you have to move your phone around. Actually,
I mean,
that just makes it annoying to look at. You're trying to show your aided arm to the photograph of somewhere you've just been, and you're moving the phone around so the picture moves. It's just.
I mean, it was kind of fun the first time, and then I was like, no, this is actually just annoying.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's kind of like the 3D tech you got at cinemas, where you're watching a 3D film, and at some point, I don't know if it was just me, but at some point during the film, you would actually just take the glasses off to see what it looked like.
I've never watched a 3D film where I haven't at some point taken the glasses off just to have a look at it.
But the thing is, though, I watched a couple of 3D films, I think. I don't even remember which ones they were. I remember I watched Avatar in 3D.
Yeah.
And at no point in that film did I think, wow, this is amazing in 3D.
Actually, Avatar was the one where I did think that was pretty good. But
the only scene I liked in it was after they blew up the tree and there was all that ash floating around.
Right.
That looked kind of cool. That was effective. But the rest of the time, I was like, my brain is going, this is a film. It is putting it into 2D for me.
Yeah. But that scene where they're flying around on the dragon-like lizards, that was pretty awesome in 3D, I thought. Didn't think?
No, I didn't.
I really, really, really want to have a flying lizard. Well, anyway. That moves us neatly on to the weekly Elite Dangerous column. Even though the podcast isn't weekly.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. So, new this week in Elite Dangerous, there's some pretty awesome alien encounters. So if you might look this up if you haven't seen this.
No, do I?
Well,
that's a no.
You know what? Just send them to me on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, okay.
She'll say she's watched them.
Yeah, look,
no,
it'll be great because the WhatsApp group will do 2 blue ticks to show I've read it. It's fine.
Yes, I obviously live in Elite Dangerous. I don't have time for gaming because Elite Dangerous clearly isn't a game.
Sorry.
It's a way of life, Sophie.
I'm not sure if that's better or worse.
I go into work and I spend 8 hours shuffling bits of paper from one side of my desk to the other. And I come home and go into Elite Dangerous and spend 8 hours shuffling space tea from one space station to another. I'm not really sure which one's the real world because they're quite similar.
What I will say about Elite Dangerous is that it reminds me a lot of a really old Microsoft game that I've literally just forgotten the name of.
Is it Privateer, by any chance?
Oh, no, it's very similar to that, though. Freelancer, that was
Freelancer, yes.
Freelancer, do you ever play that? That was brilliant. I loved Freelancer. It doesn't run on my computer now because it's too old.
Too old.
But I need to see if I can find a downloadable version. A legal downloadable version.
Don't bother, just go to Elite Dangerous.
No, I don't want to Elite Dangerous because Freelancer actually has a very good storyline to it. And it is quite entertaining.
You make your own storyline. The thing about ED is not just the game itself, but the very large community around it. It has a very substantial community engagement, and people make up stories as they go along, and they treat it very seriously. So, people join factions. A lot of factions that they join are actually not in game; they're out of game. But they organise themselves. They take it very seriously. They organise Discord servers, and there are a number of books written about the game. And the thing about it is that the official books feed back into the game. So what's in the book becomes lore in the game. And there are recent series of events that have happened with a lot of player engagement. A lot of people getting very excited and upset about what's going on. And all of those things, those events and the commanders and the commander names are going to be put into the book, which they're going to be able to buy and read. And there's a very big crossover between what happens in the community and what happens in the game. And that's one of the things that makes it, for me, unique. I've never experienced that in the same way before. And that's what kind of blurs the line with Elite Dangerous.
But that is one of the benefits of like these sorts of online games, actually, is that they do evolve with time.
Yes.
And there was this great, would you believe actually, I read an article in New Scientist about World of Warcraft.
Right.
It was a few years ago now. But a disease that you were supposed to only contract in this like one part of the world. There was a glitch and it broke out around the world. And scientists, various epidemiologists, found this absolutely fascinating because they watched characters' behavior and people's behavior when they had this disease. And they used it as an actual epidemiology study because they were saying, some people deliberately locked themselves away when they contracted it so that they wouldn't spread it. Some people locked themselves away so that they couldn't catch it. Other people were complete arseholes and ran around trying to spread it, But it was a very interesting sort of study of human nature, even though it wasn't entirely accurate.
These things do reflect real life. I mean, you get the same cross-section of people in Elite Dangerous as you do in real life, which is to say that most people are decent, most people be helpful and friendly, but you do get the odd, utter arsehole.
Exactly.
So it's not like Counter-Strike then, it's full of arsehole.
No, Counter-Strike it's very much its own thing there, isn't it?
It's a different genre of game, isn't it? Any competitive type game is full of arsehole.
I think one of the differences possibly is, I don't want to draw any conclusions, but I think a lot of people who do play it have been playing it since the original 1984, the original 84 version. And so they're of necessity are older players than CSGO players. I don't know if that makes a difference.
I think, I don't know, because some people are quite old to play, FPS games and they're arsehole.
You can be an arsehole at any age in your life.
Yes, you can be an arsehole at any age.
I think it's the fact that, you have a competitive edge that's not really that in Elite. Elite's more of a community, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
There's Counter-Strike can be, against anyone.
Yes, so, Call of Duty or whatever, it will be you join a server and your main objective is to get top of the scoreboard. And some people, I don't know, get an ego maybe from that.
Yeah, I guess that's true, isn't it?
I mean, it's, for example, if someone was to jump into a game, I don't know, like Overwatch or something like that, and they'd be playing online, and they have never played a game like that before, so they don't have any idea what they're doing. I'm pretty sure, 1 out of every 4 games they join, they'll start getting people giving them abuse because they're crap at the game or something.
Really, as bad as that?
Yeah,
it seems unnecessarily harsh, doesn't it? I mean, how are you going to get new players in if you're going to give them that shit?
It is true. I may be over-exaggerating. I don't think I am, personally, but...
Although, to be fair, I suppose some people would actually take that as an incentive to be like, right, I'm going to bloody show you, aren't I?
You'd
Whereas somebody else would be like, oh, go away, leave me alone. Which would probably be me, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, don't be mean to me.
I mean, you can obviously ignore it and stuff, but it's... I don't know, there's this thing, isn't there, of just because they're good at a game online or something, you'll get a load of shit or something.
Do you think people compensate? Do you think they compensate for not being having
interesting in real life?
So what's it, Sophie?
For not being interesting in real life?
Yes, exactly that. For not being interesting in real life. Thank you for helping me out there. Clearly.
I think it's no different to, when you see sporting build-ups, and when it gets really competitive, I don't know, for example, in a boxing match or something, they start slagging each other off, don't they? It's very similar to that.
There is an element of psychological fighting going on there. Like when you watch any fight, mixed martial arts or boxing or whatever, they're trying to psych each other out before they've even thrown the first punch.
Normally it doesn't work.
Well, no, that's why you have a fight.
You have to be pretty mentally resilient to get to the top level in any of these things. But by the time you're at the level
very true.
On TV, you're not going to be put off by somebody sledging or whatever. I mean, it's the same with Formula One drivers. I know, because I've followed that sport for many years. The drivers have to be very mentally resilient because you get drivers who are good, but might be at odds with their own team. You might get someone who is chasing down a world championship title, knowing that at the end of the season they're out of the team. They're not involved in team meetings and stuff because they don't want to be taking their competitive secrets to the team they're moving to, but they're still chasing down the world championship. So it'd be very self-reliant, self-contained, mentally tough to be at the top flight of anything like this, I think. And probably no different in Counter-Strike. If you're going to be in one of the top teams, then you're not going to be put off by somebody calling you names.
True.
Yeah. I think it's the problem is when you have people that want to be professional but aren't, and take it very seriously. But it's no different to. I mean, I used to play football when I was younger, and obviously, there's your chance of making it is probably quite slim, to be honest. But you get people that take it very, very seriously, and it's their way of life, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you get football, particularly you get football supporters like that, don't you? Who
yes.
Who really live for the game, live supporting whatever team it is.
Then you get, people fighting afterwards because their team lost, or it's, I don't see how you can be like that personally, but
it's that, I don't know, passion, I guess.
There is a passion. I mean, talking about this thing, going back to EliteDangerous, we had something where a fictional character had a mission to complete, and we knew when it was going to be, and she knew that she had to go from this system to that system, and she had an escort. And the escort was organised into spent a lot of time organising, drilling to get good at the sort of defence that they wanted, and they took the thing very seriously. You had people who were ex-military, ex-US military, who were playing the game and organising the defence of this fictional character along some military lines, and go to a lot of time, a lot of effort. And when she wasn't successful in making it to her destination, people were so upset. People were really, really very angry, very upset, and taking it very seriously indeed. And I guess it's much the same thing. Anyway, so that's enough about EliteDangerous. Anyway, I think that's it. I have no idea how to end this. Anyone any ideas?
Mention the Twitter if anyone has any questions or comments or whatever. Okay.
That's a very good idea. What's our Twitter account?
You set it up.
No, I did.
Please don't edit that part out because that's hilarious.
No, I'll leave that in.
Mention the Twitter. Yeah, what is it? Maybe we should have that at the bottom of the notes so that we can just say it each time.
Yes, I think that'd probably be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Wait, you're saying this has been done to a script? What?
No, it's not technically a script, is it?
No, it's show notes.
It's notes.
Yeah, we don't script it because it would sound too stilted.
Exactly.
So it has to be spontaneous, doesn't it? That's the way it works. So it's
definitely been spontaneous. The number of times we've gone, yeah, we'll edit that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be a 4-minute podcast. Hi. Bye.
Okay. Well, thanks, Dave and Sophie, for that very interesting chat. We hope that you will listen and subscribe to this. We plan to have 2 episodes a month out, roughly, holidays and the like allowing. We plan to have a range of things to talk about over the next couple of months. There's the odd special guest, although more on that later. If you have any comments, we are available on Twitter at EDS_chat. Do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. At some point, we'll probably be opening a Discord server up as well for a bit of chat. But more on that in future episodes. Anyway, thanks for listening. Do tell your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. And Dave and Sophie, anything to say?
I don't think so, except for if I have £1 for every time you said, I'd be really rich.
Thanks.
Sorry, that was really mean.
But deserved, lovely.
Tell someone's getting tired.
Okay,
Look,
Dad.
it's late, all right? I have great sympathy for him right now.
Okay. All right, we'll wrap it there.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll chat to you again soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speak to you again
See you
soon.
later.
Bye.
Bye.